Good morning. I am Amy Pels. Welcome to today's session on long-term care insurance. Before I begin the presentation, I want to point out that today I'm going to talk briefly on Medicare, Medicaid, and tax laws. Please know that I am not an expert in any of these areas, so if you have a real specific question, I will refer you to a more knowledgeable resource. What I am an expert on is the CNA Group Long-Term Care Plan. So in saying that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. And to begin with this morning, I'm going to touch on the plan that you will be joining is called the CNA Municipal Pool Plan. And basically this is the law of large numbers. Anoka County is a very large county, so getting long-term care products to the county would not be as big of an issue because you have a lot of employees. However, some of the smaller cities and counties aren't able to always get their own insurance. And so the CNA plan has what's called the Municipal Pool Plan. And so it's the law of large numbers. The more people we have paying in, the better resources that we have. We're going to spend a little bit of time on the plan history. I'm going to touch briefly on most of the slides, but because we have such a shortened timeline, I'm going to also spend quite a bit of time on the enrollment packets that you all have in front of you. With this plan, the Minnesota Legislative Funds did a study on group long-term care back in 1996, and the state actually went out on an RFP. RFP is request for proposal, and they sent it out to many different insurance carriers, and the one who ended up being picked was CNA. But why did they choose CNA? CNA has 27 years of long-term care experience. They were one of the original founders in the long-term care market. But a couple of main things that I want to point out on this slide is that this coverage is portable when you leave, whether you retire or you leave on your own terms. Your rates and your premiums will stay the same. Instead of having your premiums deducted through payroll deduction, CNA will send you a bill at your home. The other thing that's key is CNA is offering guarantee issue for employees. What that means is that you can get this coverage without answering any medical questions. I do need to point out though, if anybody is planning to retire between now and the end of the year and won't be at work on January 1st, 2013, come and see me after the presentation. You'll have to fill out a different enrollment packet. But guarantee issue to you as employees is a big deal. We're going to spend some time and you're going to see multiple did you know facts coming up throughout the presentation. And these are just things or little mind games that you're going to ask yourself, did you know? I'm not going to read them word for word. I'll usually pick out one of the bullet points. But the one that kind of surprised me, while 89% of baby boomers acknowledge that expenses of long-term care could seriously affect their retirement income and costs, 70% have done little or no planning. Well, we can put you out of that category because today you are here and we are going to start the planning session. So I'm going to start off by what is long-term care? Long-term care is a variety of services provided to those unable to care for themselves. But what does that really mean? The services that are being defined are called activities of daily living, or ADLs. And these are the 6 things that we do each and every morning within the first hour to 2 hours that we're up. And what do I mean by that? The first item is transferring. We get ourselves out of bed. We're able to do that. Sometimes we move a little slow, but we're able to get out of bed. The second thing is bathing. We shower ourselves, we clean ourselves up. The third item is dressing. We are able to put on our shirt, button it, and tie our own shoes. The next item, number 4, is toileting. We're able to get ourselves ready. We're able to comb our hair and brush our teeth and make ourselves look presentable. The next item is called continence, and what that means is when you go to make your bed and it's dry, that's a really good thing. And yes, we should all be making our beds. Your mothers would be very proud of you. The last item, not all of us may do, but we should, and that's eating. Even if you have a cup of coffee, at least you're able to prepare that and you're able to enjoy that cup of coffee. But those 6 items are what we do each and every morning. And those 6 items start to We're unable to do some of them as we maybe start to age, or if we have a severe cognitive impairment such as Alzheimer's. One of the most common mistakes is that long-term care insurance is nursing home insurance only. And I'm really going to ask that you try to put that mindset beside you, especially for this presentation today. Long-term care can be provided in so many more areas, such as alternative care facilities, assisted living facilities, adult daycare centers. But most commonly, long-term care insurance is performed at your home. We have made our home a place where we want to be. We know that it's 13 steps and there's a nightstand in the way between my bed and the restroom. We are comfortable there. So this insurance can allow somebody to come into your home and care for you there. But Amy, why do I need long-term care? I'm actively at work. I don't see any issues. The statistic that I'm going to point out on this slide is that nearly 40% of people receiving LTC, which is long-term care, are working adults between the ages of 18 and 64. So yes, just because you're young today doesn't mean that a car accident couldn't happen or a head trauma. Okay, so that statistic was a little alarming. What if I need long-term care? I've got so much other insurance. Isn't something going to cover me? And that's what I'm going to spend the next few minutes on, is going over who would pay for long-term care. The first item that I have listed here is health insurance. Health insurance is not going to pay for your long-term care needs. If you fall and break your hip, your health insurance will cover your medical bills, the x-rays, but it's not going to cover that long-term care facility or that nurse coming into your home. Medicare. Medicare will cover, but very limited, and I'm going to go into that slide next. Well, I've got long-term disability. Won't that cover it? Long-term disability is insurance on your paycheck. If you can't work, you will still receive money from long-term disability, but that needs to go to cover your other expenses, your food, your rent, your mortgage, a car payment. You're not going to most likely have extra funds to cover your long-term care needs. And the long-term care needs, we will get into this cost a little bit later on, but you're looking at roughly $163 a day to be in a nursing facility, and that is sharing a room, and you're looking at $32,000 a year to have an aide come into your house 5 days a week to care for you. So are you going to have those extra funds? The other thing to think about is long-term disability usually ends at your Social Security retirement age, which is about 65 right now. So what about beyond 65? So we talked about the items that are not going to pay for your long-term care needs. What will pay for it? Well, you could private pay, but we all spend a lifetime working to gain that retirement, that nest egg, to enjoy during our years. We don't want to keep that to spend on our long-term care needs, or we want to give back to an organization, to a family, to something we like to do. Well, you could have informal care. I've got a daughter, she lives 3 blocks over. Is that daughter going to be available for you every morning and every night to help you get in and out of bed? Does that daughter or that son have their own family? Do they have a job? So informal care is out there and it is available, and it's great for a couple of days or a weekend, but is that something you really want to experience? The other thing is we have spent our lifetime being that strong person to our kids. And as a child having to watch it also, it's hard to watch your father no longer be able to care for himself. So there's an emotional strain on that child to begin with. Medicaid will pay. It is means tested, and we will get into this a little bit later as well. But means tested means I have to spend down what I have, what I've worked so hard for. The bottom thing there is long-term care insurance, and that's what we're going to continue to go over here this morning. So why is Medicaid not my solution? Medicaid is available for individuals. However, there are hoops that you need to jump through. And the 3 hoops that I'm going to talk about today is the first thing is you need at least a 3-day prior hospital stay. The second hoop is you need to find a Medicare approved facility. Up here in the Midwest, it's not as difficult to find Medicare or even Medicaid approved facilities. But as you go south, that is more and more difficult. But the third thing is I need to be receiving skilled care. I need to be getting better. So 3-day prior hospital stay, Medicare approved facility, and constantly getting better. If you jump through all 3 of those hoops, Medicare will pay for the first 20 days 100%. Day 21, you have to pay the first $144.50 out of your own pocket, and they'll pick up the rest. Day 101, you're completely on your own. So Medicare is available, and it's great for those short-term stays. The average stay in a nursing home was 2.4 years. What about the rest of my 2 years? Who's going to pay for that? Well, what about medical assistance? What about just getting some sort of aid? There is the medical assistance available. And what I want to focus on here is that one of the items that you give up when you rely on the Medicaid is your freedom. We all spend a lifetime being free, making our own decisions and doing our own things. Most of us drove to work today, and there are all of these little red octagon signs with white borders. They do say stop. We choose whether or not we want to stop. Yes, there could be consequences, but we chose what to do. With Medicaid, you give up some of that freedom. There is not a lot of long-term care facilities that are going to actually come out to your home. You have to find a Medicaid-approved facility. But the main thing here is you need to spend down. You would have to spend down and qualify. And you may be thinking to yourself, oh, that's okay. I'll just give my money away prior. Well, if you try to play the shell game, please know that there is a look-back period. And that look-back period can mean that they can go in and take that money back. So it is out there, and it is available for people who need it. My next did you know? 10 years of life are lost on average for caregivers who suffer extreme stress. We were talking about that example of my daughter. She lives 3 blocks over. She can come and take care of me. It's extremely stressful to care for somebody. It's a professional career that individuals do, and I thank them for doing it because it's something that I could not do. Why do I want to buy long-term care insurance? So we've talked about the activities of daily living. We've discussed that none of my other insurances that I currently carry are going to cover it, at least full term. How expensive are you talking, Amy? I've got a big nest egg. I've got a big chunk of money. $60,000 a year for a nursing home and $32,000 a year to have an aide or a nurse come into your home to take care of you 5 days a week. So if I do purchase this, when do my benefits begin? When you are unable to perform 2 of those 6 activities of daily living that we spoke about. If you are unable to get yourself out of your bed or bathe yourself. Or if you have a severe cognitive impairment such as Alzheimer's. We've all heard those stories about Grandma Edith wandering away from the home. And when your mind goes, you need care more often. So a lot of the times when somebody's mind does go or they're on those first stages, you will see them entered into an actual Alzheimer or cognitive dementia facility. You will have to satisfy some waiting periods. Think of this as your elimination period or your deductible period. However, once you satisfy those, you stop paying your premiums because you can collect your benefits. So how does this plan work? What you're going to do in a few minutes here is we are going to review the plan options. But think of long-term care or my long-term care insurance policy as a pot of money, a pool of dollars. You're going to get a lifetime max. That is my savings account for my long-term care needs. And that money can be used to pay for your home health care, an assisted living facility, any adult daycare services, but that money is yours to use. So what are the benefits that are available? And we are going to focus on the option 1, 2, 3, and 4 across the top. That refers to how much money do I want available each day. And I will get into these a little bit more when we get into the enrollment packets. but option 1 is $120 available a day for a long-term care or for a nursing facility. Option 2 is $150, option 3 is $200, and option 4 is $250. Then you're going to see down the side, you're going to see a choice A. It says a minimum of 730 days or 2 years. And what that means is a minimum, if I were to spend my entire option 1, my daily benefit amount, my plan for choice A would last me 2 years. And for choice B, it's 3.4 years. And choice C is 5 years. So at minimum, when you purchase that pot or that pool, that's how long your plan would last you. What if I purchase it today? How do I know it's going to keep up with inflation? Or what are my inflation option protection plans? There are 2 options here. The first one I'm going to talk about is the standard option. That is the item that's called a guaranteed benefit increase option. And what this states is that every 3 years, CNA will send you an offer letter to your home asking you if you want to increase your pot of money. With that, there are no medical questions asked as long as you keep accepting it, but you will pay a new premium. And that new premium is going to be a blending of your original purchase age and your current age. But they are giving you the chances to keep up with inflation. The other thing is an optional benefit. Now this is going to cost more when we take a look at the rate sheet, but this is a lifetime automatic benefit increase. You will see it abbreviated as ABI in your packets. This ABI states that every year your pot of money and your daily benefit amount is going to increase by 5% compound. You don't pay any additional premiums, your premium stays the same. What happens is that this premium is higher up front. If you do purchase the ABI, the automatic benefit increase, this will qualify you for the Minnesota Long-Term Care Partnership Program. And what is the Minnesota Long-Term Care Partnership Program? It's an arrangement between long-term carriers like CNA and Minnesota's Medical Assistance Program that enables people to protect their assets if insurance benefits are depleted and they need more state-paid care. So what this is saying is that none of us have that crystal ball to know exactly how much care I'm going to need. But what you will do is you will have different qualifying amounts to qualify for assistance if you elect the partnership program. And on that, I'm going to kind of deter for a little bit. But in the month of September, Minnesotans who are over the age of 40 received a letter from Governor Dayton and a brochure called Own Your Own Future. And this Own Your Own Future that he sent out was really focusing on long-term care and pointing out the facts that we looked at earlier, that you don't have a current insurance plan or coverage unless you have prepared for it. So if you purchase the ABI, it does automatically qualify you for the partnership program. And here is a map. Any state in yellow, you would also be available to qualify for their partnership programs. That good old state in red is not playing nice right now, and they have said no reciprocity. And the original partnership states, they are in blue, and there's no reciprocity with them either. So remember that this coverage is portable, so you can take it with you when you leave the city's employment or the county's employment, but you can also take this with you no matter where you go or where you retire.